Okay, today we are going to continue working on finding the central message in a story. Today's task, we're going to read the story, The Wolf in Sheep's Clothing. We're going to think about the important events. We're going to determine the central message. You're going to be doing the reading today. If you see the pause button, you're going to hit pause so you can read. I wanted to point out something to you. Yesterday I had mentioned to hit the red pause button. The button actually doesn't work, but if you hit anywhere in the screen when you're watching the YouTube video, it should automatically pause for you. If you need help finding the pause button, make sure you ask a grown-up to help you. You do need to know how to pause the video so that when you're reading the story, you are working on it, reading it independently. Here are our learning targets. I can retell stories from a variety of genres. I can read stories and determine the central message or moral. So I have been modeling this skill for you this week. Today you will use what you have learned. You're going to read the story independently today, and you're going to determine the central message. Before you get started, let's review what we've been working on. First, let's talk about our reading strategy card. Retell rock stars make sure to ask who, ask where, and ask what happened. In the beginning, in the middle, and at the end. You should always be thinking about problem solution when you're reading through stories. What's the problem in the story? How was the problem solved? This chart here, how do I find the lesson or moral of the story? The lesson of the story will teach us something, influence us, tell us how to think, or tell us how to act. This phrase influence us here is kind of like a really good story with a good central message will kind of be teaching us something or giving us some idea of how we can change something or think about something in our own life. Central message is kind of like a big idea, and it's something that people can use in their lives, even though a lot of the stories we have are about animals. For example, the dog with the bone story. The main character in that story is a dog, but the idea of not being greedy, not wanting, that is something we can use in our own lives. So when you read this story today, or actually all week as you've read the stories, hopefully you're thinking about, is this message something that a kid can use? Most of the time you'll find something that will teach you something or will just make you think. So here's my thinking as I'm reading. I have to think about the main character. Is the character good or bad, nice or mean, happy or sad? When we look at yesterday's story, there was sort of a good guy and a bad guy in The Mouse and the Lion. And the lion is really kind of the one who's learning the lesson. Number 2, I have to think about the beginning, middle, and end of the story. What are the main events? How is the problem solved? So definitely you always want to think, was there somebody that sort of saved the day? Or was there somebody that sort of solved the problem? Now today's ending is a little bit different. So I want you to be thinking about this as you're reading. Number 3, how did the character change or what did the character learn? And you can even flip this, what can I learn by reading this story? Here are some words you might need to know prior to reading the text today. Fleece is the wool covering of a sheep's skin. I went ahead and plugged in a little picture here so you could see a close-up. This is called fleece. Delicious, tasty, yummy. A meadow is a field or a grassland. A shepherd is a person who takes care of sheep. Stew is a type of meat soup. So you can pause here so that you can read through the story on your own as you read. Be thinking about what the problem is in the story and how the problem is solved. Okay, and now you can finish reading the story here. If you need to hit the pause button. All right, now you are going to find a link for today's question right under this video. There is no extra post needed for eClass today in the discussions. If you need anything, or if you have any questions, you can leave a comment in the reply section